Up, you know what it is. It's your man Trey, aka T Smith.
Loved by few, hated by many, respected by all.
Coach boy, Coach Ben, ready to get it in on the world famous
Turftalk, baby.
It's a first down. Here in Bryant. Green, and it's intercepted. Drake Jackson. Let's go. Let's go.
Live my whole life around gangsters. Don't hang around nothing that ain't like us. When foes make them put away deuces. My whole hood in the building looking ruthless.
Welcome to a special edition of Turf Talk, live from the heart of the Inland Empire, the football factory, Mater Logan Stadium, with the one and only, as we call him, the GOAT. I couldn't do this, tonight without our guys, Coach G, Coach Dennis. So it's a pleasure of bringing in one of the greatest coaches of all time in the high school world. Man, it's definitely a pleasure. Coach Logan's in the building.
Thank you.
Coach G, Coach Dennis, out of all the conversations we've ever had, we talk a lot of Centennial on and off record. We're supposed to be a non-biased show, but we always talk Centennial football. I know you guys probably couldn't give a better introduction than me. Coach G, you want to start it off?
Right. You know what I mean? I wrote a little something for my comrades here, and Coach Logan. My son went here, and I learned a lot from you as a coach myself. I took a lot from your book and implemented it on the football field. But I got an introduction for you, and it goes like this: up here at the football factory, where everything manufactured is Tonka tough. They got the IE on lock, and I'm not talking regular handcuffs. Changing the game like a baseball pitch. Head Coach Logan, steady moving in silence like ding dong ditch. Year after year, jacuzzi hot, nothing to prove. And before you abuse, criticize, and accuse, you better Kelly book his name before you walk a mile in his shoes. How you doing, my brother?
It's definitely a pleasure.
Yes, sir.
I know, Coach Dennis, one thing people may not know just watching this, all three of our sons play for this man, and all three of our sons have nothing but great things to say about him. But Coach Dennis, I know you have your words as well.
First of all, I just want to thank you so much for giving me the opportunity and the privilege to coach with you. It's been such a great learning experience, and I'm loving it. And I don't feel I'm going nowhere soon.
Yeah.
I just want to thank you.
Definitely. We've had a couple conversations, but I remember walking in the room and my son was on the phone with you, or like a Zoom or whatnot. I guess you do your weekly check-ins. And that was the first time my son ever told me to get out. And I was like, who the hell are you talking to? And he was like, Coach Logan. And I was like, that's when I knew you had something different with your players. That's when I honestly knew. And I used to tell people that. I was like, my son never ever told me to get out of the room. And you know what I'm saying? So I knew you had a connection with your players, and I know you pride yourself off, and I don't think a lot of people get to see that, from the outside of, the glamour and glory. But I want to start off because we've done a couple interviews and they've mentioned your name. Who is Coach Logan? Besides, we don't have to go too far back, but you've interned for the 49ers. We've had some people drop some stuff. Tell us a little bit about you as far as people may not know, if you don't mind, real quick.
Sure. I guess probably how I became a coach is probably kind of an interesting story. I graduated from Chico State with a business degree. So I worked in sales for a couple of years, and about a year into it, I realized this is not what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And I felt like I wasn't not to talk bad about the company or anything, but I don't drink wine, and I was selling wine. So I was like, I just didn't feel like I was a true person. Yeah. I wasn't being true to myself. And I really missed the game of football. I haven't played it through, high school and college, and then always had my friends' brothers who I would work with, whether it be training or something in football, and was dragging my wife at the time to a high school game on Friday night, to a college game on Saturday. And back then we had two pro teams. I guess we have it now again, to a game on Sunday. And I'm like, I think I need to go get into football in some capacity. And so went back to school, got my teaching credential, and just started coaching. And so I think that's something that's probably a little rare to people with that they might not know. I really don't have any other hobbies. So being a father of three girls and having a stepdaughter and now two grandchildren, they occupy my time. So it's football and my family is all I do.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, Coach.
Right. Coach, I always say that your imagination is a preview to your future. So if you're thinking you can have it, and you made me a believer because my son came here and I seen him do big things, and we believed in you, and man, like I said, I learned a lot from you. And a question that I have is, what's your why? Like, why are you doing this? What makes you tick and dig deep and just who, like you said, who you are, but why do you do what you do?
You know, for the same reason why I got into it in the first place was to help kids. Right. I mean, that's the biggest pleasure I have, and to see kids go on and not just on the football field, just be successful. Right. You know, and you know, we had one of our former players come to our J. Sarah game a couple weeks ago, Jody Johnson, who was on our 2002 championship team, and he's actually the guy that ended the game when it was a triple overtime game, and he had to make a play on the ball and picked it off in the end zone on their 2-point attempt to take the lead. And you know, just seeing him and seeing what he went through in life, and him to come say thank you,
right?
And then to see how successful he is, and the things he's doing now for kids as well,
right?
And things like that. And that's just one story of many, but that's just want to help kids be successful.
Love that. Man, I love that, because I always say football is a life lesson. You know, what you go through, you grow through, and everyth's here, because I know the competition out there is tense, but you have proven beyond a reasonable doubt that you can go head up with the big dogs. I believe if I'm correct, it was 200 wins?
200 wins. Over 200 wins.
Over 200 wins?
Over 200
yeah.
wins.
Man, that's a blessing. That's
definitely a blessing. It's a lot of lives changed.
Right.
Coach Dan, you want to check in?
Right.
Yeah, I know for me, I'm going to say us because I'm part of the team with you, so, but the number one thing that sticks out to me and what I love is no one's bigger than the team. You know, I've seen people like J.J. Taylor and Javon McKinley cleaning up the stands one day. I've seen Drake taking a lap. I've seen Corey Foreman taking a lap. He's the number one kid in the nation taking laps.
Yeah, laps. He made him run the whole practice because he had an All-American helmet on. I was sitting in the stands. But go ahead.
I mean, and you're still successful. I mean, we lose kids every now and then, but we're still successful. What makes us this way?
I think that you get treated fairly, and regardless if you're the best player on the team or maybe not the best player, you're going to get treated the same. Right. And you have the same expectations from the way you handle yourself, the way you take care of your grades, the way you work, and the kind of person you are on and off the field. And I think that's important. I think they see that. I think it's nobody's getting any special treatment.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So a lot of people don't know too on Wednesday nights, kids don't have the right grades. They run it for it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
A lot of teams don't implement that. And that's one of the things that I love. You know what I'm saying, as far as these kids, because like you said, education is very important. Right.
Especially when everybody else is over there eating that meal, and you know,
right.
and they might run out of dessert by the time you get done. So you better take care of those grades so you can get some of that.
And that's the things, like, you know, we talk about, and, you know, when we go around talking to kids and we just talking about, because we ask a lot of kids, like, how's your treatment on campus or whatever, and I'm thinking, like, man, Centennial, they got more than one team meal. It's like a team meal on Wednesday, you know, some snacks and all that, so it's a whole experience here. I want to dig, you know, like, I'm a fan of football, Coach. I know you know them on a personal level. I'm just a fan of football, and I've expressed that to you. I want to go back a little bit. I just want to ask, you applied, I'm here, I'm talking. You applied for the Norco job but didn't get the job or something to that degree, or?
So here's my coaching career. I wanted to, when I was in sales and I realized I didn't want to do that anymore. I wanted to coach. I called up Mater Dei High School, and Coach Rawlinson had offered me a position. And then about a week or two later, found out we were going to be pregnant with our first daughter. So I had to wait a year, and then came back again. And I just kind of thought in my head, where's the best place I can go learn from? Yeah. You know, and I was living in Orange County, and Mater Dei had just the year prior to that had won the national championship. I think they'd beaten Ike in the Big A. I was there actually watching that game, and so I wanted to go learn from the best. So I was there as a freshman coach for 1 year, and then an opportunity came at Esperanza High School. So I got the opportunity to go there for 2 years, and it was kind of, for me, for my style, it's better if I just get thrown into something. Right. So when I was there, I became the head JV coach the first year and became the DB coach on varsity, which happened at the last minute just because another guy had gotten a different job or something. And so I was thrown to the fire. Right. And I mean, it was funny, even at at Mater Dei, my first year coaching, you know, I was coaching receivers then, and you know, in freshman football, there's 40 receivers and three of everything else, right? Yeah. Everybody wants to be a receiver, you know, even the big guys. And so I was wearing my arm out over there, and then the defense coordinator left after like the first or second game. So next thing you know, I'm the defense coordinator. Yeah. You know, and growing up played a little bit of linebacker, but mostly was a fullback. And you know, I think it's as far as the offense is concerned, I think a running back is probably the least educated. Like I know how to block things, and I knew how to run game a little bit, but pass game, no clue. And then there I was, the receiver, DB coach, and then the defense coordinator. So it was good for me because it totally like, here, what's the weakest spot? Okay, you're going to be that coach. That's what happened, you know. So it was great because it made me learn, and I was there for 2 years, and then had just finished my teaching credential at that point, and Orange County went bankrupt. And that's where I was living. And so the opportunity came out to here. So so I started interviewing for different jobs, got a teaching job, which was going to be the first and foremost of the whole situation. And then Norco High was full. They didn't have any coaching opportunities. And then the coach here was Ron Garinger, and he had heard from me from a friend, I think, offered me a job here. So I taught 1 year at Norco, coached here. Okay. And then as a defense coordinator, then came over the next year as a teacher and coach. And then Ron went off to greener pastures, and then it kind of really fell into my lap.
Oh, so. The reason why I brought that up is because I was just trying to figure out the hatred of Norco for you so much, you know, because the game where where we were out there, like they were sitting on their mailbox trucks and everything. I was like, man, and then I had heard that you like were in the mix for jobs. Like maybe that's why they hate him so much.
Well, I went to school there too.
Okay,
so I played there, and
all right, so
you're a traitor once you leave.
Okay.
But it was funny because growing up when I played in high school, it was just us and Corona High. That was the rivalry. That's all there was. It was only two of us. It was you had North Corona and you had Corona, which was North, and that was it. And it was funny because all the guys in my neighborhood, we lived up, right the 91 to 15 up in Cresta Verde, and it's actually a city of Corona, but you went to school in Norco. So we were kind of that unique group. So we played Corona youth sports, but yet we went to Norco Junior High and High School. So we had friends on both. So it was kind of weird. Yeah. So when I got called all kinds of things and different stuff. When I came over to the Trader, when I came over to Centennial. And all
I always wondered why they celebrated you so much. Like, Coach G.
I know you have a lot of compliments, but from me to you, you make it look easy like a Sunday morning. Everything you do, you're so cool and collective and you're moving fast. But for me, I need to know, what was it like to coach Vontaze Burford? I think he plays for the Raiders now. He's out the league now. I heard that the guy is hitting his head on a locker and beating people up. What was it like having someone like that? But he moved on. He's been doing big things. I believe that he got the most penalties in the NFL. So what was it like coaching someone like that?
Honestly, and I get this asked a lot, he was awesome because he was so competitive and he worked so hard. Like he loved playing the game. Like he loved playing the game. So, and all the off the field stuff, there was a few small situations here that you have with every normal teenager, nothing big though, and never an issue. He struggled in school a little bit at the beginning, and so that was kind of the biggest issue he had was just getting him on track academically. But as far as a football player, you loved it. I think Bill Parcells once said, you can't make a dog bite, and they either come biting or they don't, and something to that effect. And he came out biting. That's it. So it was more like, so you never want to tone a guy down, but if he got too crazy, hey, Tez, can you get that bag for me? To get him off the field that way. He doesn't realize because if you tell him to go take a break, he's not going to take a break because he's competitive. He's the kid like guy. If you were playing checkers and you were beating him, he'd throw the checkerboard. He's just super competitive. The most competitive guy. We went out there one time to see him at ASU, and they just had that bubble constructed. They were in there doing 7-on-7. It was during the summer, and a DB gave up a deep pass, and they lost a 7-on-7 game or something. This was in college. No. He walks off the field, walks right by us, doesn't say anything. He's just pissed. And he's just cussing the whole way off the field. So, right, and it's Tez. He's pissed about got DB give up a deep ball on a 7-on-7. It's his home team. Man. So he was great. We had him in all-star games and stuff like that. And after that, which was a lot of fun, and he's just going. He only knows one speed. He only knows one speed. Now he plays on the edge there. Right. He just his thing with him. If he was just in the league 10 years before, he'd be celebrated. Yeah. But now in the new age and the different things, it's different now.
Different ball game.
Yeah. Touchy Philly. Dan, you want to check in?
I know a lot of guys. Father to me.
Yeah.
And just like he said, Vontaze Burford, but like you see a lot of these guys come back over the years and just to come to the games and give their testimonies or whatever. And he also acknowledged that you had over 200 wins. I was at the Ola game. We were there, and what's one of the most memorable moments to you as a coach?
Football moment?
Yeah.
There's so many. I think probably one of the most rewarding, would probably be from a football standpoint, would be the 2014 CI championship, because we weren't supposed to be in that division. Number one,
Stadium, right?
we weren't supposed to be there in a championship game. We weren't supposed to be that. We were the underdog going in, and I think that was probably because that was one of the years when we started off, I think 1-2. We had lost to got crushed by Mater Dei in the first game. We beat, I think, Long Beach Poly the next week, and then lost to Bishop Gorman here, who ended up winning the national championship. And there's games you could have won, and there's games you should have won, and that was a shoulda. Right, yeah. So we had them beat, and we made some mistakes in the end. But so we were 1-2, and we were going into the Pac-5 at the time, and there was a lot of talk if we even belong, because we were Division 4, Division 5 before, and then to go in and win that, and then have to go through that stretch that we went through when you played a full schedule. I mean, we played Gardena Serra, who had all that talent, yes. and it was I think 68-65 was the final, the first game, and that was a playoff. Every game felt like a CI championship game, and then the next week went down and beat Mater Dei, redemption game from that game before without two of our best players. J.J. Taylor had an appendectomy the day before, day before the game, and then played Bishop Almont here, came down to like the last 30 seconds, right. and then played Bosco in the championship game. And it was just great to see them come run out with the smoke and the lights and everything else, and right. all their great players, and they were great. And then for us to pull that one out, that was from a football standpoint, that was such a rewarding year, because the way we weren't supposed to be there, the way it started, and the way the kids just kept believing and kept working, and ended up winning a championship.
Right. I think I was there. I think they came out with a baseball bat too. Was it Angel Stadium?
Yeah, it was.
They came out with a baseball bat,
and it was down at the very end, and he came back,
right?
Like a sack from the edge or something. Yeah. I was at that game, so
we had an 8-minute drive to close it.
Right. I was
to close it out. Yeah, it was pretty.
And you had a little tailback. The little guy got in because
Monte Bonner.
Yeah, exactly, because he got hurt.
Every time he sees me, he's all, "Coach, man, that was a game of my life. That was so much fun."
Because he threw him in there. Threw him in there.
He was a slot receiver. Yeah. We don't have the depth like some of those other schools. We got 5 deep at running back or whatever. So.
Right. I was remember to me too, because Drake was an 8th grader.
Yeah.
He was going to all these games.
Right.
We were trying to figure out what school to go to. And I'm like, man, we could have
Yeah. It's a lot. Everybody knows that, but so this is the part I want to get to, the football part. So all of our kids went here, and I used to sit in the stands. I always sat in the opposing stands just to watch the field and how you operated, because I finally was here. I see you walk the field. I see you stretch the players, which a lot of head coaches don't stretch their players. They usually have assistants do it. And then I just see your process, and I was like, man, Centennial don't look that good, the first couple weeks. You see him in practice. And then everybody says around here, he'll fix it.
Right.
And it's like, and I was like, nah, he ain't gonna fix this, And then you start seeing it come together. And then I started memorizing, I started taking notes of, what you do and things like that. And it's just miraculous how you see your team grow each and every week.
Right.
What is the Centennial Way where you fix it without the major details?
Well, I think first and foremost, if you look at our coaching staff, there's a lot of coaches who've been here for a long time. Right. So we've had stability there.
Yeah.
So we know what to expect. We know from each other, and we're very, almost choreographed on the field. And I think we get the most out of every minute we can.
Right.
There's not a lot of downtime.
Yeah.
And so we're always constantly working to get better. That's what we preach all the time. We don't, honestly, who we play, it doesn't matter to us. It's about getting better from the week before. And that's the approach we take with everything.
Right.
And it's, we still believe, there's always going to be more talented teams, and we have our talent too. I'm not going to downplay that by any stretch, but there's always going to be more talented teams, and who's going to win that battle? It's going to be the ones that put in the work prior to it, and the ones that play together as a team.
Right.
Especially this day and age, it's tougher.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things going on for kids, and a lot more pressure, and a lot more money involved, which was never involved before. Not on our end because we're public school, but still that allure to those kids is out there.
Right.
And playing team ball isn't attractive anymore to kids, but that's why football is the ultimate team sport.
Yeah.
Right.
So it has to be that way, and they have to, and our kids believe, and they dig in, and they see the value of it, and sometimes it takes a little longer for that to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a secret to it.
Yeah.
You know, play together as a team and work your tails off.
Yeah, I call it the machine syndrome. You just have a machine answer for it, and
Yeah,
it slowly.
and I think there is an expectation when you come.
Yeah.
In. There's an expectation of what the work level is going to be like. Of you expect to win, so you're gonna play that way. You're gonna practice that way. You're gonna lift that way. You're gonna train that way. You're gonna, you know.
Yes,
like I
sir.
tell them all the time, you can't just be good at one thing.
Yeah.
You got to be good at everything.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
you got to be good in the classroom. You got to work hard in the classroom, and you know, there's some people that are, regardless of all of us in here, there's going to be people that are smarter than us.
Yes, sir.
So we gotta work harder to achieve if we want what they're getting.
And that's something you've helped me with my son. I used to give you a call, like, hey, like, cause you know I tell him I'm working there, but he was like, all right. Then I see him studying. Like all of a sudden he got off the phone, Coach Logan, he's studying. Like, all right, whatever. But Coach D, go ahead.
You know, I would have to say it's kind of disheartening at the youth level because, like you were talking about, they're teaching swag over development, and you guys have to inherit that.
Yeah.
And that's disheartening. But I would say that coming here, if anybody wrote Corona Centennial off, what I seen today on the field, they're writing back. So I commend you on that. And if you guys don't mind, I put something together, and it's called Quick Fire. I want to ask you about 4 questions, 7 seconds, just fire out, just kind of,
First
have
word.
fun with me. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
okay.
quick fire, okay? 7 seconds. You
Yeah,
guys hold the
yeah,
time.
we
Here we
got
go.
you.
Best quarterback in the NFL.
Patrick Mahomes.
Best play caller in the NFL.
He's no longer coaching, but Sean Payton.
Who wins championships, offense or defense?
Defense.
Bonus question: McDonald's or Chick-fil-A?
McDonald's.
Come on, Coach D, go ahead.
All right.
First off, I just want to send my condolences to his
Right.
Pop, yeah,
Right.
yeah, Pop.
Right.
I want to, as a tribute to him, man, he's such a wise man. You
Yeah.
know, I come in practice and I will always just talk to him.
Right.
Like, I was always late to my corner because I would always talk to the dad.
Right.
And just like our first game, I looked over in the corner because he's always in the defensive corner where the D line is. And I always go shake his hand. You know what I mean? So I wanted to send my condolences. He was such a wise man, and I see why
Right.
Yeah.
he's so wise at
Right.
coaching. You know what I mean? But
Right.
a lot of people want to know the wide splits. Where did you get the wide splits from? And how is it still so effective?
So we every year we try to visit a college to try to get better and pick certain colleges for various reasons. So we went to BYU one year. This was, I can't even remember the year, but it's been a long time. We were wide to begin with anyways, but after we went to that trip and seeing what they did, it was funny though, they were super wide for pass pro, but then they would get in tighter for run game. I'm like, why? Why not the same? You know, and at the time for us, we were, you know, we didn't have the size of the guys that we have up front. And in my opinion too is, you know, we got the guys usually can run around with those teams, but in the end, it's the guys up front on both sides of the ball. To have, you know, an offensive D line with size that are good players every year is tough for us.
Right.
You know, we don't have what some of the other schools might have in terms of depth of that. So by widening our splits, we felt like, hey, instead of you know getting a vertical push by a lineman alone, we're creating lanes for our running back to get there. So that was the original plan. It was just because we weren't, you know, when I first got here and became head coach here, it just felt like if you walked on campus, it was a campus of a bunch of strong safeties. There was kids that were 5'11", 185, that were 4'7", 4'8" guys. Well, somebody's got to play O-line, you know, so we felt like, okay, well, let's make our linemen a little more athletic because that's what we have, and let's get wide splits so we can just create running lanes off the get-go just by alignment alone. You know, because if a coach tells you, hey, you got to be inside eye of the guard over here, I got to be inside eye of the guard, I got to be inside eye of the guard. They just keep widening. You know, so that was the original plan.
Okay.
And then once we got bigger and better, it just morphed into a philosophy. It really had, and we just really think that makes us a better run game for us. It's just our philosophy. It's what we do. Right. You know, there are times that we get hurt on it, and but every team gets hurt on it with different things. You know, so so it's just morphed into a philosophy from there, and so we feel like it gives us an advantage. And we feel like playing fast does, although a lot of people do that now, so it's not quite the advantage that it was at one time. But we still think that is in our bread and butter because we know that we work hard and we can out condition, we can out last longer than the other teams, and that's you know. So if we can keep it close in the fourth quarter, we feel like our chances of winning are better because of our conditioning and of our tempo. Okay. And then the wide splits we feel like gives an advantage because it's not something you see every day.
Gotcha. I see you with your headset on, but then I see you veer off without your headset. And I'm like, do this man have a photographic memory where he's trying to see what is that part of your...
Oh, being down farther?
Yeah, where you get away from everybody.
I like to look through the defense of the defense to our offense. I like to be as far down as I can. Well, now, I'm getting a little older, so the eyesight isn't as great.
Yeah.
So, but I would be as far as I could in front of our offense coming to us, because I
Okay.
could see I can see the secondary, the linebackers, the D line, I can see alignment and everything.
Because I used to watch you do it, like, you always started off in the beginning of the game doing it more, and then as the third and fourth quarter, you didn't go down there so much. I was like, so he kind of figured out what he's doing.
Well, I was super excited when the rules were for high school. They were going to push it out, I think, to the 20 or actually the 10-yard line.
Yeah.
But California decided not to do that. I was like,
Okay.
man,
Yeah. All right,
that's my game.
That's the game right
That's
there.
my
Okay.
game. I like to just see through the whole defense.
All right. One more question, Coach. Out of all the years you've been coaching and everything, all the accomplishments, accolades, one of your biggest regrets that nobody, I mean, has whichever you go, just one of your biggest, because you have a lot of accomplishments, you have a lot of accolades, some stuff that you probably just, just picking your brain.
Yeah, two things come to mind. The first thing is, a play call that I might have would have done differently.
Yeah.
Especially based on the turnout, right? If you
Yeah.
call it, it works. Who cares,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
But when it doesn't work,
Right.
So that there's a play call in our first game against De La Salle, 2007. We were 4th and 2. We were down by, I can't even remember, probably 4 scores at one time, and got within 7. We had the ball around their 35, 40-yard line, 4th and 2, getting back in the game, and I made a call, and we didn't execute it, and we didn't get it. So then mine automatically races, what play could have I called to help us,
Yeah.
and things like that. So that, from the football standpoint, I think from another standpoint is honestly just, if I want, every kid wants to play, and I get that, and I want kids that want to play.
Right.
That's what you want on your team, So when a kid leaves because they felt like they didn't get a chance, because I want every kid to understand that they do have a chance, and I want to provide that for them. So that bothers me when guys leave when they say they don't have a chance. I want them to feel like, hey, I got a shot. Maybe I wasn't ready, maybe I wasn't good enough, maybe I didn't prepare well enough. Or, I mean, it happens. The guy in front of me's better.
Right.
I mean, it just happens. That's life.
Right.
So I just, that would be my two regrets. If a kid felt that way, and I would want them to leave here with a positive experience. In reality, I want everybody to feel that way.
Right.
But in defense of that, a lot of kids leave and they still rock it off because of the Centennial program.
Right.
Like Centennial, we talk about all the accolades of pro athletes, D1 athletes. This is a D1 breeder right here.
Right.
But you have plenty of kids in D2s and D3s that don't even get like there's thousands of kids out there in college because of the Centennial program. So we give you your kudos for that.
Right.
And we have a meeting every year too. And I talk about that. Hey, there's if you want to play college football, there's a place for you. I didn't play Division I college football, and I played Division II, and I was so good they retired my number, or they closed the program.
Yeah. But a little bit of both.
But I always tell kids if you can get good grades and you want to play football, there's a place somewhere where you can continue to play.
Right.
I know, like for me, football. I didn't. As a 19-year-old, 18-year-old, it's gonna sound probably dumb that I'm saying this, but I didn't value college at that time in my life.
Right.
I was worried about other stuff in my life.
I got you.
Having fun or whatever. And I played football because that's what I did. And then it came to a point where football can help me get through college.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to be for everybody. If it whether you get some money to do it or you get a scholarship is awesome, ideal situation. But whether you get some money or you just get an opportunity, like other people, a lot of players that played for us, to get an opportunity to go to a Division III school they might not have gone to, or an Ivy League school they might not have got the chance to, and play and have fun. And because as you said before, life lessons. Football to me is the ultimate game. It's the ultimate team game. It's the ultimate lesson teacher because so many things happen in that game that there's no other game that has contact like that.
Right.
They can say what they want about any other sport. There's no game that has a full violent contact line. That changes everything.
Yeah.
Just think if you were playing basketball and you go for a layup and you could possibly get hit every time, like back in the 80s when it was good basketball. Right?
For real.
You wouldn't go to the paint. And that would happen. And so to me, football brings that edge and that element too, which is different than any other sport.
You're right.
So that's not for everybody.
Right.
It's not for everybody.
That's why 80,000 to 90,000 people show up for football. And
Right. It's
20,000 people show up for LeBron.
A lot of hard work and a lot of things involved in it, and it changes. Just like quarterbacks will look great throwing the ball in shorts, and then when you got a guy rushing at you, it changes. Changes the game. Right. So.
And people don't know this. I believe you travel like 100 kids. So the JV young men, they get a chance to travel. Am I right? They get to travel on the bus with the older guys. You know, so when they were at Angel Stadium, some of these JV kids got the chance to experience that. So piggyback off what you were saying, it's right there. But you know, I've been fortunate enough to coach at the youth level, and we've been national champions. So I have the young, which KB1 and my other team. And you know, the rumors are out there. Oh, Coach Logan's not going to be here. Is Coach Logan going to be here? Do you even, as far as retirement, is it coming up, or is that something you're still thinking about?
So I'm 5 to 6 years in that range for retirement. But like I said earlier, there's two things I do: family and football. That's
All
it.
right,
So
we have our answer.
So I mean, I don't golf. I
Yeah.
don't. You know, I mean. I don't. That's what I do. So I will coach as long as going out on the practice field is still fun for me.
Right.
That's what I've always told myself. Then I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
As soon as that becomes not fun, because all the other stuff that people can take.
Right.
People can take the equipment room.
Yeah.
People can take the parents stuff.
Yeah. Right.
All, you know, all the other junk, the fundraising. They can take all that.
Right.
But as soon as it stops becoming fun out there in the practice field, then I got to stop.
Makes
Because
sense.
then I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna be true to myself like when I was selling wine.
Right.
Yeah.
Then I'm selling some. I don't stand. That's not what I want to do. It's not what I like. So you know, then I'm not true to myself. So as soon as that'll be when I'm done. So I don't know. I mean, I always coach. I think in some capacity, no matter what.
That makes sense. I have my youth team here with some donuts and Skittles for you every practice. Because I have some top boys, and I do want to feed them here.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of whatever the turnout is. You know, we Huskies. You know, we've been Huskies. I got a good rapport with Bosco and Mater Dei, but you know, I'm a Husky at heart. So
Gary, we supposed to be a non-biased Turftalk,
know.
man. Come on.
I got to keep.
I'm
having a Jesus moment.
You gonna get all these? Now
I gotta keep it real.
they're gonna stop doing interviews because we trying to send everybody to Centennial.
I get my babies over here, man. So.
Go ahead, Coach. Did.
No, again, I want to tell you thank you again. I don't know if you know, but when Drake was born, his name should have been Drake Jackson from the University of Southern California, starting linebacker, coming in at 260. I came in here one day to grab water. I said, Coach, does SC ever come and recruit us? He said, yeah, all the time. He said, you like SC? I said, we love SC. And maybe 2-3 weeks later, we got a call from SC.
Wow.
He was getting recruited. One of the coaches, he says, Coach Logan says something and gave his word.
Yeah.
It's like gold.
I heard that too.
And I was like, oh, wow. You know what I'm saying? But my question for you is, do you see, like when you see these kids, do you know, like, okay, this kid's going to go to the NFL. He has the talent or whatever. Do you know? And how does it feel to have so many kids that come from this program in the league?
You do see that sometimes, and it's funny because the ones that you think that don't is even more surprising.
Right.
And you know, it's all, and there's so many factors that go into that. And you know, I hate, you know, and I as a kid, you know, if you would ask me, and everything I wrote of all my little, you know, all the little things from third grade, what do you want to be when you grow up? You know, NFL football player.
Right.
And you know, I wanted to play tailback at USC. And I wanted to be running back for the Rams. There's nothing was going to stop that, right? And so I didn't have the talent to do that. So you know, I feel like, you know, I don't want to crush people's dreams, but I always look at it from the college standpoint. Let's find a college you can play at. If you're good enough to go pro, then it'll happen for you.
Yeah.
You know, and so I don't want to ever crush your dreams, but I think that, you know, having those goals in that, and I would never, I would never tell a coach, oh, he's a Division III player, he can't play for you. Like, I would never do that because I don't make that decision. First of all, they do.
Yeah.
Why would I put that in their head? You know, so I think that, you know, I'm gonna try to, you know, help the kid get to the highest level he can. Then it's up to him to make it work from there on out. You know, I might have a suggestion or two, but you know, ultimately the kid's got to make that decision because he's got to go to school. You know, you're looking at probably 5 years in reality. Right. You know, and you might, you know, and at least it took me to get 5 years through college, so maybe you did an extra year. But so you got to look at it. Can I go live there for 5 years, regardless of what happens to you on the other end of it, you know? But so I think it's important that kids have those dreams, and it is very fun to watch those guys, and it's awesome. I mean, it's. You know, it's almost hard now. Like, okay, which games? Okay, they're playing here this time. I'm gonna play there. It's fun. So.
I know a perfect example too is Saguna Lubier. He went to Division II.
Yeah.
Went JC afterwards. I wanted to say Division II again.
Right.
Walked on to San Diego State. Got a full ride to San Diego State. Tried out with the 49ers. Got cut from the 49ers. Now he's a practice squad with the
Colts.
With the Colts.
Man. Bless him.
And he was a basketball player when he was here.
Yeah, see.
Wow.
I had to convince that guy, hey man, you can play basketball, but you got talent for football. Right. I don't think he'd ever played until he got to here, and it was probably his sophomore year or junior year that was his first year playing football.
How is it competing? Like when somebody comes to Centennial, like it's like a life. It's like it's a whole different journey. Like the basketball team, the academics. It's like more of a family culture, and it's like once again, all three of our sons went here. Right. They all loved it. My son, like, I'll never forget Centennial. You know, like what's that experience that people get? Your student athlete programs, and you know now even with the basketball team.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I think what's been great here, and this I'm on principle number 5. That's how long I've been here. This is
didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
5 principles I've survived. Man. So they are all very student first. So it's student-driven campus, and so everything is set up to them. It's going to meet their needs. It's not going to meet principal's aspirations to move to whatever superintendent or whatever job's next for them. It's that. So it's all very student-driven. It's very there's activities for everybody on this campus. So whatever you're into, you can find some club or something to help, pursue that activity or interest that you might have. That's what's great about this campus. I mean, there's over 32 languages spoken. I mean, it's a melting pot. We've got a little bit of everything, and there is an achievement, an excess, an excellent tradition of excellence, so to speak, in regards to that when the athletic programs. And excuse me. So I think basketball's done a tremendous job. They've always been good, and now it's at probably national level. Not probably, it is at a national level. Football's had success for going 20 years or so.
Go ahead and say it, Coach. Come on, fella.
Wrestling was really good, and it has been good. I mean, there's a lot of things going on, and it's just a really good campus. It's all based on helping students, and everybody has that. Everybody has that goal in mind. The counselors are great. The teachers are great. They're all looking to help kids. You asked me what my why was, to help kids, and that's what this school stands for. Yeah. And I think a lot of schools aren't like that.
And I honestly believe that, and I know you guys know as well, and Dom knows too. This campus stands for something like, and I got to see my son grow up. I don't want. This is going to be the hardest question of the night right here. Right. You already had the one from Gary, but best offense and best defensive teams.
Oh, that we've had.
What year? Best offense, best defense. Because I'm going to put the 2021 defensive team in the top. Somewhere in there.
Got to be 08.
Those guys from last year, Coach, were solid as an overall group.
Right. Very much so.
Yeah, like as a total overall group, that was a solid group. But I just want to hear from you which one.
Yeah, well, the state championship team 2008, that defense was amazing. 2015 defense was very good. Even going back earlier, 1996 defense was really good and talented. That was my second year here. Right. That defense was really good. It was a different time in age of football, but we defended a lot of wing tees back then. But still, it was great. I think they still hold a lot of the records. But different football. Those three stand out. 21 for sure. Last year's team was amazing defense.
I fell in love with last year's defense. Yeah. What about the offense? Best offense you ever coached?
That's tough.
I know that's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah. Gosh, that's tough. Probably. I pick certain aspects of the offense, but probably as a group, maybe that 2012, 2013 years when Robert Weber was that quarterback and Trey Watson was running.
Okay. Trey Watson, 3,000 yards, something.
Yeah,
something ridiculous, right?
Well, that team. Yeah, we had over 9,000 yards of offense, broken national high school record.
Trey Watson went crazy.
Yeah, that year. So I mean, just from production, that team alone was great. But there's and there's been that's just because of numbers, but there's been a lot of other good offense.
I got you.
That's tough. I mean, it's funny. We try to put up like an all Centennial team. Mm-hmm. And it's tough. Yeah. Because you can only pick one quarterback. You only pick one. I mean, that's tough. Like I wouldn't want to do that. And it's like and we've done that a couple times. We just laugh like it's impossible. I mean, there's some linebackers that were back in the day, like a kid of probably Ray Loman. You guys have never heard of. Was one of the toughest, meanest linebackers we ever had here. I mean, he was 5'9", 180 pounds. He was a middle linebacker for us. Linebacker. He got a scholarship to Washington State as a strong safety. Didn't quite work out in college as we all hoped, but I mean he was a heck of a football player. I mean, before Tez was here, before a lot of those guys were here, and he would bring it. He would bring it. He was an amazing player, and there's plenty of others, but I can't go on. It would take too long to mention. But a lot of great players, so it's been fun to coach those guys and see them.
And before 2019, coach.
Oh yeah, because it's good.
Kids go to SC.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, that was a given. But I did want to give kudos to the programs, because in those programs that you guys give out, they have the stats of all. Not a lot of schools give that information. Like you gave the stats for like rushing yards, receiving yards, most touchdowns. So I think that's amazing information that you guys give in the programs. Right. Gary, you want to wrap it up?
Right. And, and I want to say this to all the parents out there. This program right here they hold accountability high. I believe every Tuesday practice that you guys have to get grade checks.
Grade checks.
We check the grades on Monday. Wednesday's payday.
Right, payday. That's right.
You gotta run.
Right. So I'm gonna leave everybody with this: love still wins, prayer still works, God is still able. Luck didn't get you this far. Everybody out there, keep going. Peace, love, and happiness to everyone. I want to thank you, Coach Logan, for having us here and let us pick your brain.
Thank you, guys. It was awesome. It was fun.
God is good.
We definitely want to thank Coach Logan for hanging out with us. Turf Talk Special Edition from the center of football, the IE, the Football Factory, the #1 public school in California.
Yes,
we call
sir.
it the #1 public school in America. Right here, Corona Centennial, the GOAT. The one and only Coach Matt Logan.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
That being said, Coach, I want to present you with something I brought out. 49er jersey signed by Drake Jackson.
Nice. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
That is
Add to your
awesome.
collection.
That is awesome.
Sir.